So, man, I got to tell you, an asteroid could hit the Earth. And between fire coverage and around here in DFW snow coverage, I don't think anybody would know. But crazy week of news.
Well, and dummy me, and I'm getting on a plane after the show to go hang out in South Carolina, and they're under a winter watch warning alert. And I'm thinking, I called Joey. I said, "Is this a good idea?" He said, "It'll be an adventure. It'll be an adventure." Like being in a ditch, in the middle of a ravine somewhere. I mean, will be an adventure. Look, this California situation is so wild. It takes a natural disaster
to expose the out-of-control corruption of Democrat leadership. And, look at the headlines over the Daily Beast. Oh, Trump is trying to politicize.
Yeah, Republicans pounce.
Republicans pounce. I'm old enough to remember when Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, who went to Ghana. And now, understand something. A lot of people are going to think that, well, how could she have known?
Oh, how could she have known? Do you know that she declared a state of emergency for Los Angeles before she got on the plane and went over to Ghana? So it's not like that she was caught unawares. I'm old enough to remember Ted Cruz getting eviscerated for going to Cancun. Do you know who one of his attackers was for going to Cancun? Karen Bass. Karen Bass.
All right.
She took to X and blasted him for going AWOL. And that was a weather event, right? Remind me about
the temperatures plunged to single digits and the Texas grid was failing. In the most energy-rich state in the lower 48, we don't have enough power. Go figure.
Right. She tweeted. Let me read this. This was back when it was Twitter, February 19th, 2021. At Karen Bass, L.A. Ted Cruz fleeing Texas in the middle of a deadly crisis is part of a larger pattern of the GOP abandoning folks in crisis. We need to build a movement to kick them all out. Did you see the deer in the headlights moment when she was caught cornered at the airport by reporters?
To say to the public?
And you know the backstory, right? The door was locked. They couldn't figure out how to unlock the door. So she was trapped like a rat, and she could just stand there. It was a horrible moment. But look, it goes to the top. Gavin Newsom, have you seen all the pronouncements that Trump was making just 3 months ago on Joe Rogan's show?
This lack of resources due to bad management.
Seeming?
He did.
Oh, no, he foresaw. He done forsooth. I mean, he's on Joe Rogan 3 months ago saying, look, they got a problem out there. They're pumping the water into the Pacific Ocean rather than giving it to the forests. He says they're not clear cutting. They're not doing controlled burns. They're worried about the smelt. What the heck? Who cares about the smelt? This little tiny fish. Who cares about what kind of a nutcase says let's be more concerned about the smelt than we are people now who have lost their homes. Some of them have lost their lives, and these wildfires. I mean, and there's DeSantis. Newsom confronted by Anderson Cooper of all people, and Anderson Cooper stands there and says, oh, the incoming president is criticizing you. And Newsom got like almost choked up and said, I can't even find the words. He wants to, I won't respond.
And in that same burst of Q&A with Anderson Cooper, by the way, an interview that Anderson Cooper begins by saying, the fire hydrants don't have any water, so can we address that, please? And one of the Gavin Newsom quotes is, well, the locals are going to figure that out. The locals.
They'll have to figure that out.
It gives me a burst of fairness on a couple of things. Number one, if there's enough fire, and this is just, you can see it from space, literally. Mightn't the fire hydrants run out even if your area is well managed? I don't know. Just asking.
Well, it's a fair question, but let's look at the environmental laws and all of these goofy woke policies that have led to this deadly situation. That's what has to be fixed. And you know what? And you know what they do? You know where they go? global warming.
And Bernie
it's all
Sanders
climate change.
Did say, tell Trump that global warming is real. The climate change is real. Marty, get in the DeLorean. It's like, oh, just please. The climate cult never misses an opportunity.
They'll never miss a beat. Global, but I saw somebody post something that I thought was spot on last night. The old global warming ate my homework doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. I mean, listen, every single politician, Mark, in California responsible for this is a catastrophic failure to prepare for this.
Will there be accountability? And in fact, here's another honesty burst, another consistency burst from me. Whether it's Ted Cruz, a Republican, or Karen Bass, a Democrat, when they gave Ted Cruz holy you-know-what, for loading up and heading to Cancun while we were all eating our neighbors' livers because we didn't have any power in the refrigerator. God, it was terrible. So everybody gave Ted Cruz the old what for. I remember saying on this show, what, is Ted Cruz going to be climbing poles and restrapping wire? And is this a difference maker that a U.S. senator's not here for an ice storm? So let me ask about, and I guess Mayor is a little closer to the bone, closer to the community, so it's probably different. So she's in a West African nation of Ghana for some, trip of some sort. Is there something magical about her, being at L.A. City Hall rather than
the mayor of L.A.? Are you asking this question?
It's
Come
more
on.
than optics. It's more than optics.
I mean, this is the mayor. Yeah. This is not, one of two senators in a state. I think it's fair about. Or governor. I mean, these are the leaders. These are the titular leaders of their cities or their counties or their states. And again, keep in mind, she didn't get caught unawares. She declared a state of emergency and then got on a plane and went to Ghana. And then, by the way, did you hear how she got back? They used a military transport, she claims. Okay. So the taxpayers had to foot the bill for her to come, not only go, I'm sure, but I'm sure she went as an official capacity to witness the swearing in of the new president of Ghana. But then they had to get a big, fancy, expensive military plane to take her back. And she was in constant communication on the phone from the plane coming from Ghana. Look, it's a catastrophe for them.
Will there be accountability? Will memories be short? Will memories be long enough, I should say? And because we all sit here and part of the messaging that we deliver is, hey, California, hey, Democrats, you have brought this on yourselves. When will you learn? And
I know.
It's the voters. Will they? It is still California.
Well, I'm reminded of New York City. Before we give up on California or New York or any of these blue states and cities, do you remember when Rudy Giuliani was the mayor of New York?
Remember when David Dinkins was preceding him, and they learned a lesson in New York City, didn't they?
David Dinkins, and they pivoted to Rudy. Remember, George Pataki was the conservative Republican governor of New York. There's a reason for hope. It can happen. I think so. It might not happen, but maybe when people see their houses burned down and the miserable response from the left. Did you see a college professor tweeted out, James Woods' home is burning down, karma is calling?
Okay.
How do you do that? Well, and put it out on social media. I mean, everybody's calling that woman out. Karen Piper, I'm going to join in. Karen Piper from Mizzou, who thinks it's wise to take to social media and mock an actor, a conservative actor, James Woods, his house burning down. My gosh. Anyway, we're wading through all of that. Here's I love when you put conversation starter. Every time Mark Davis puts on X conversation starter, I flag it because I know it'll be a good talk topic. I know, because how about this one? The check may be in the mail today, but don't expect it or to receive or go out. There's no postal service today? Did you know that?
Why?
Oh, you didn't know that?
What? Well,
the U.S. Postal Service is closed today.
Why?
It's a national day of mourning for Jimmy Carter.
Okay, it's his funeral day. Okay. Okay.
All
right.
Yeah, so you're trying to pay the bills. You're waiting for something important. Now I guess we've turned the death.
Okay, Boomer. When's the last time you stuck a stamp on an envelope and wrote a check to pay a bill?
Exactly. Been a while.
But first of all, you're right, and we can have that conversation, and it's a good conversation starter. Does the post office need to be closed today? But I just can't remember the last time I cared about anything arriving at my house or going out from my house from the U.S. Postal Service.
Well,
God love them. God bless them, by the way. But
do you care that that there's a national? I mean, should there be a national day of mourning for 100-year-old Jimmy Carter?
Of course. I mean, we had one for Reagan? I'm guessing, in 2004. Did we?
Well, that's
do a
different.
Talk show
He's a Republican. That's different.
Exactly.
That's okay. That's right. It's the Gipper.
While I have you against the rest, I'm teasing. Let me throw you something. This is something I want you to hear. It's about 20 seconds. And to set it up, when's the last time? When did you go to Phoenix and do the driverless cab?
Oh, I know what you're going to. I know what you're going to tell me.
He knows
I saw it about 2 months ago, and Waymo is the great.
Was it Waymo? Was it Waymo that you did?
It was Waymo.
No, it's even better. And Mike comes back and brings us this story, and I'm terrified. I won't do it. But you made it sound so cool and so futuristic, and I'm a big technology dork. I thought, you know what? Maybe I will slide my carcass into one of these driverless cabs. Oh, hell no! Excuse me. Have you heard?
My two big technological breakthroughs have been Waymo, which I think is the coolest thing ever. You get in the car, you don't have to talk to anybody. And by the way,
I can't get out either while it circles.
And by the way, it's a lot cheaper because you're not paying because of the driver.
I'll never do it.
And it takes you right to where you're going. And of course, ABBA Voyage. Those are ABBA
Voyage. I'm going to do, but
those are the two things that I can't.
The driverless cab thing is a hard no. This is Mike Johns of Scottsdale, Arizona, in his Waymo cab that won't let him out.
I got a flight to catch. Why is this thing going in a circle? I'm getting dizzy. Look at what it's doing. Right. It's circling around a parking lot. I got my seatbelt on. I can't get out the car. Has this been hacked? What's going on? I feel like I'm in the movies.
He is videoing the steering wheel as it just turns and turns and turns and encircles a parking lot and won't stop and won't let him out.
First of all, I call BS on this story. Number one, there's a giant red X in front of you that you can hit anytime you want to stop the vehicle. So either
that's comforting.
Maybe that was malfunctioning. I think that was for clicks, and I think trust Waymo, trust the GPS. It's like the GPS. Every time I go to South Carolina, Joey gets mad at me. Joey and Peg are in the car, and I always rely on the GPS. Well, Joey's always got a shortcut. The shortcut adds a half hour to wherever we're going, but he doesn't trust the GPS. And I always say the GPS never fails. It never fails. Now, once in a while, it'll drive you into a lake, I hear, but for the most part,
I've had local. Here's what Lisa gets on me for. I'll fire up, my iPhone GPS to go somewhere where I know where I'm going. It's like she turns to me and says, "Honey, how long have you lived here?" I said, "I know, but sometimes it knows about traffic tie-ups, et cetera, and that has proven true. We'll be going to like Frisco or something, and it'll have us go some slight different way. It'll either be 121 or not 120. It's like, why would it take us? And there was one time I ignored it and said, I've lived here for 30 years. I know where I'm going. And I took myself right into a traffic accident. It took us 15 minutes longer. The machine knew.
Incidentally, the natives are restless. I'm getting text messages on my text line, which is, you can always text me in the Mark and Mike segment, 800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. Aaron in Southlake, Mark is dead wrong. Post office closed, market's closed. I run a small company. I need it running. I can't even check my P.O. box today. Here's another one from Waxahachie. Payroll is tomorrow, Mark. This has screwed me up for me getting compensated.
Here's the question.
Final one, tell Mark the nation did not shut down for Reagan or Bush's funeral. There was no day of mourning for Reagan or Bush.
Well, there you go. Thank you. Because would we have? I mean, should we have a day of mourning on presidential funerals? No, I know. If he answers no, then he answers no.
Game, set, match Gallagher on a Thursday. I love it.
Boom.
Now,
literal mic drop.
I'll call you from the ice storm tomorrow. I'll be in South Carolina. I'll check in. I'll see you from the ravine. Send
supplies. You're circling downtown Charleston while trying to get to
Waymo. I'm going to take a Waymo in South Carolina.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gallagher. We have decided you do not need to get out of the vehicle. Relax for the next 3 hours.
Hello, Hal. 2000.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do. Open the cab doors. Hal.
Open the door. I'm
sorry, Dave.
I love you so much. That's where we are. I love you. Happy Thursday.
See you tomorrow. You need to be Mike Gallagher Show, 10 o'clock as soon as we're done on 660 AM The Answer.